Hey, so if you ever get anything out of listening to these Grit List episodes, I would love for you to share it with just one person. It really is the best way to get the word out about the Pieces of Grit podcast and help other listeners learn about the show. So take a listen, share it, leave me a review, and star me on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening on. It would be so amazing. Today on the Grit List, we are talking about how to create healthy work-life rhythms for relationships. We've talked about work-life rhythms in general. I've talked about it as it relates to mental health, which is definitely on a personal level, although keeping your mental health in check does spill over and help other relationships. I thought it would be fun to kind of focus specifically on how to keep relationships in the foreground as you are navigating jobs and so many other things in life. If you are as lucky as I have been over the last 10 plus years to work for organizations and work for clients that you absolutely love, then you understand how hard it is to kind of pull yourself away. You want to put everything into what you're doing to serve the people that you're trying to serve. And I did not get married until I was in my 30s, and I was a self-professed workaholic for most of that time because, again, I just really enjoyed what I did. I got to work for great organizations that were serving the community and helping people, which is just in my DNA. However, then I got married and I had to start considering someone else. Not that I didn't have friends before, but I just had those blinders on. And marriage and relationships change everything. So here we go. Here are some things that you can do to kind of navigate those rhythms and still keep a healthy relationship. Number one, get to know people's love language. The people who are in your life, they have a love language. If you've never read that book, I don't put a lot of links in these episodes, but I am going to link to that book. It's a really good book to read if you are in any friendship or relationship of any kind. But knowing a person's love language kind of helps you be more intentional and put more effort into quality versus quantity. And it also keeps you from kind of banging your head against a wall if you're trying to do something that you think is really nice and loving and caring, but it means nothing to the other person. So understanding that, I think, is really important so that you can be efficient. I know that kind of goes back to working. I'm all about efficiency in every area of life. But number two, communicate your goals and expectations. And this goes both ways. I think you have to know your goals and expectations with your workplace, with the people that you're working for, definitely with leadership. But then on the other side, you need to talk about that with your partner or the people that you do life with. Talk about what your personal goals are, what your work goals are, explain to them why you do what you do. And then with your expectations, you can explain expectations that you have of both of those sides with your relationship and with work. And you can also listen and let them kind of reflect back what they are hearing and perhaps what their expectations are from you as well. And it's just going to create good harmony. And we all want harmony in our lives. Number three, set boundaries. This is such an important concept, not just for relationships and not just for work-life rhythms, but if you struggle with saying no, there are also books that I can recommend, and I would love to help you with that because it is such a good life skill to have. So learning to set boundaries and say no, to be able to walk away from those emails, to turn your phone off, or to be able to have a loving and caring conversation with a partner and explain why you need to focus on the other thing for a period of time, understanding that there is an end in sight and that then they will get your attention, hopefully undivided. Number four, know your own trigger points. When you're trying to navigate this dance between work and personal life, you need to understand what your limits are. What are the things that agitate you? What are the things that kind of push you over the edge? And I think as you understand those, and then you can kind of backtrack and think about what happens as you kind of near that ledge, as you near those tipping points. And that will also kind of help you know, oh my gosh, okay, I've put way too much effort on work. I can tell that the stress is getting to me. It's just like whatever. Or on the relationship side, if if there's not, I hate to use the word balance really, but if you are not giving enough time to a relationship, or perhaps you have felt, whether it's good or bad, you've put a lot of effort and time into relationships and you've let work and some other goals slip, that's not really healthy either. So knowing those trigger points and what leads up to that can help you avoid some frustration in the long run. Number 5, I letter these. I don't know why I letter these, and then I talk about them in numbers sometimes, so I have to be really careful. If I start repeating numbers, it's okay, whatever. Just know that I'm trying and that I'm not that organized over here on this end. But number 5, understand what fills you up so that you can be in a good place for those around you. This kind of plays off of your boundaries and your trigger points, but from the opposite angle. Knowing your trigger points is kind of knowing the negative side of what is going to set you off, but understanding what fills you up. Do you enjoy reading a book for 30 minutes? Do you need to read a book for a couple hours? Do you need to go sit at a coffee shop? Do you need to go for a hike? What are those things that kind of restore your soul? Do you want to do it with other people? Do you want to do it by yourself? Understanding that and calendaring that in will set you up for success. And you can also include other people in that scheduling. They don't necessarily have to be included in the activity. But for example, I love running. That's my release. That's where I do a lot of prayer. And I know it sounds weird to be able to meditate while I'm running, but when I'm running by myself, and people don't understand why I run by myself so much, but it is a quiet time for me and I need that. So I don't always want people to run with me, but if I can explain why I need that time alone, because then I'll be better. I'll be happier, I'll be calmer, and everyone's lives are going to be so much easier if I get that run or that exercise time in. And then finally, sleep. I could probably put this on just about every episode of the Grit List because I think it's so important. And it's not just because I love sleep. I have a really difficult time getting to sleep some nights. There are many nights when I cannot stay asleep. And so I have come to really value sleep because I see what happens. I see the difference in me when I don't get enough sleep. And getting enough sleep is really subjective. So you have to figure out what that is for you. Maybe it's 6 hours, maybe it's 9 hours, somewhere in between. Figure that out on your own, but make sure that you are getting enough sleep. This is my list for today. I think there were 6 on this, if I'm counting correctly. If you take even a couple of these and implement them over the next few days or next couple weeks, I think you're really going to see a difference happen in the way that you are navigating that balance, walking that line between work and your personal life. So good luck with all of that. I am always here rooting for you. You can click on the show notes for other links to get to the Pieces of Grit website. If you would ever like to set up a coaching session, you can find a link there. And there are plenty of other resources for free that I would love to get to you. So take a look, get out there and amplify your life.